So lovely good evening and welcome to Camnet TV News. To present, my name is Jeffrey Ziambo. Our top stories in the news tonight: PF campaigns on the slogan of no road tax if voted into office again. Traditional Affairs Minister washes his hands over the arrest of Chief MUKUNI'S wife. Water Aid Zambia concerned with the underfunding towards the water sector. And in international news, Chad rivals reject DEBY'S son inheriting power. And in sports news, Egyptian side Pyramids sink NKANA by 1-0.
2021 has been described as a highly politically charged year. This is because every 5 years the country goes to the polls, and that 5 years elapses with only a few months remaining down to the ballot. The battlefield to appear on the ballot is becoming fertile. A lot of people are expressing interest of appearing on the ballot.
In all this, our interest is to put the duty bearers, the leaders, and those aspiring to task by asking the relevant questions.
If you're an aspiring candidate, be it councillor, mayor, or member of parliament, get in touch with us to get yourself on the verdict.
We go beyond speculation in dealing with policy and governance issues. The right questions are asked to help you make a verdict. For more details, you can call us on 0962 965883, 0979 753010, or email us info@camnettvafrica.com. Terms and conditions apply. Join us on Camnet TV
every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday at 17:45 hours
on a new program dubbed The Verdict.
Remember that Camnet TV is not just another channel.
Another news in detail. Water Aid Zambia says the water sector in Zambia has remained underfunded, contributing to water challenges in the country. Water Aid Country Director Pamela Chisanga says there is need for compelling evidence to strengthen the case for increased investment in the water sector. Ms. Chisanga says planning and budgeting handbook developed will help strengthen the case for increased investment and resources to the water sector. She said this at the launch of the National Rural Water Supply and Sanitation Program 2019 to 2030. And Ministry of Water Development, Sanitation and Environmental Protection Permanent Secretary Mavuto Sakala has appealed to cooperating partners to join hands with the ministry in ensuring that the 4 documents launched are fully utilized in order to derive maximum benefit from the program.
The water sector still remains very much underfunded. And even with the funding that is provided to the water sector, we always see little allocations subsequently going to the water sector. We hope that as we use these documents, the planning, the budgeting and planning handbook, it will help us strengthen the case for increased investment and resources to the water sector, so that as we submit our plans for the water sector, they will be compelling enough for everybody else to look at allocating a lot more investment and resources to the water sector. Particularly the Ministry of Finance are the ones that we really need to engage. And that engagement can only be done if we are very clear about what we want to be supported, where the needs are, and we have articulated these very well in our plans and budgets. So for
the Phase 1 program, as we are aware, came to an end in 2015, and it came to an end as a success story, as was evidenced by the remarks by the country director, Water Aid. The Phase 2 program has taken into account the lessons learned, the challenges and gaps that we know about in implementing the 2006-2015 Phase 1 National Rural Water Supply and Sanitation Program. The new program equally seeks to facilitate attainment of sustainable and equitable access to safe water supply and adequate sanitation for improved health and poverty alleviation. This program, like the previous one, is aligned to our national development planning frameworks, which include the Vision 2030, Sustainable Development Goals, and the 7th National Development Plan.
Eastern Water and Sanitation Company says it has identified a financier to bankroll the $300 million United States for rehabilitation of water and sanitation systems in the province. Eastern Water Company Managing Director Aaron Mulinda says the financier, whose memorandum of understanding has been signed, will move on site to do needs assessment before signing a contract. Mr. Mulinda states that the project will see the rehabilitation of water and sanitation system as well as the installing of new water schemes. The Managing Director said this on Tuesday when Minister of Water Development, Sanitation and Environmental Protection, Raphael Nakachinda, inspected water infrastructure projects in Petauke. And Mr. Nakachinda says Zambian engineers and locals should participate and benefit from the project through skills transfer and job creation, respectively. Meanwhile, government has released 300,000 kwacha towards the construction of a water and sanitation system in Kacholola district of Eastern Province. This comes to light when Mr. Nakachinda commissioned the construction works at Kacholola Main Market. The minister said the project will provide clean and safe water to the residents of Kacholola who have never seen tap water and only depend on a few boreholes.
So the program is among many other projects that we are undertaking in Eastern Province and across the country to make sure that every Zambian has access to clean and safe water. Ichondeta mene muona through chita pana. So once vanori pa vamene mukacholola muno manzi eve mwapokerera ayafika. In the next 60 days, the project is asira pano manzi azatsabwanji yazafika. Tile usakira ndarama kuti project isasirire chapali pano wonse wapokerere manzi ndarama dzapasa ba Eastern Water so that project is here. Yonkani yama light. That's why na pari project yama zitaikapo masola panels so that mnando wakati pano paleko mavuto yama light. But nzafiki zamao kurusaka. And now MP wano I think waikakonzero ndatika msana nao parliament nkanzama light na zamanzi. That's why manzi yabwera pa.
The New Apostolic Church Relief Organization, NACRO, in partnership with Nakaz Caritative of Germany, have embarked on a 3.8 million kwacha biogas production to benefit 200 households in Petauke district of Eastern Province. NACRO Executive Director DEBY'S said the cow dung biogas production project is aimed at addressing the effects of climate change as it will discourage cutting down of trees for firewood and charcoal. Zanis reports that the project, which will promote use of gas stoves, already has 20 houses connected to biogas supply in Nkundie village of Senior Chief Kalindawalo's chiefdom. We have more in this report.
As a way of addressing the effects of climate change among the farming communities, the New Apostolic Church Relief Organization has embarked on the production of biogas in Nkundie village of Senior Chief Kalindawalo's chiefdom in Petauke district. The biogas is produced by the bacteria during fermentation process of organic matter under controlled conditions. The 3.8 million kwacha project is funded by the NAC Caritative of Germany, and DEBY'S is NACRO Executive Director.
We are having a pilot project which is called Energy Cooperatives for Zambia. The whole idea of coming here is to start an alternative energy project, which we hope, if we succeed, we'll be able to move these ideas or initiatives to other areas. And with the view that we are trying to see how we can mitigate the issues of climate change. Because the energy, alternative energy that we are introducing is trying to discourage cutting of trees, burning of charcoal and so on, so that our communities can start using gas as an alternative energy for their cooking and so forth.
The contractor explains the project in details.
We are the contractor assigned by NACRO to construct a biodigester as well as a cattle shed. What you are seeing here, the cattle shed is actually meant to house about 500 cows. And the purpose of this same cattle shed is to get clean dung that will be used to feed the digester, which has already been completed. The time frame for the project is actually 2 months. In that 2 months, we've already finished the biodigester and the demonstration how it works. That thing has already been done. Then this one, what's remaining is about maybe 45 days, and this thing will be working.
The traditional leadership in the area is happy with the development.
Wachita zinthu zakuti chibadwire tikaliyazionapo kufika pa size ino. Tinali kuyenda mitunda itali kwete makuni. Kwa malomba apa atichepesa kuti mitengo yatenzo ononga kutema mitengo ya chilengeko. Apalomba mitengo ipumule ndiposo ikule. So tunena zikomo kwambiri kamba kampingo wanyu apostoliki pamozi na bungwe ya NACLO.
Once completed, the project will, among other things, help improve efficiency in household resource production from 30% to 60%. Hilda Msonda in Petauke District.
The Zambia Medicines and Regulatory Authority ZAMBIA Senior Public Relations Officer Christabel Iliamupu has revealed that the authority has embarked on a sensitization program of health workers following the rollout of the COVID-19 vaccine. The program, which is being done in partnership with the Ministry of Health, will see health workers being trained in effective implementation of the vaccination program, which include identification, monitoring and reporting of adverse events following immunization. Mrs. Iliamupu says the training will facilitate timely decision-making and intervention on adverse events through early detection, casualty assessment and prevention. She explains that research has shown that all medicines have potential to cause adverse events. Therefore, safety monitoring of medicines, including COVID-19 vaccines, is imperative.
The Zambia Medicines Regulatory Authority, ZAMRA, in collaboration with the Ministry of Health, has embarked on sensitization as well as training of healthcare workers across the country following the launch of the vaccination program. The training is directed towards building the capacity of healthcare workers in effective implementation of the vaccination program, and this, among other things, includes identification of adverse events, monitoring as well as reporting of adverse events following immunization. This is important as it will facilitate timely decision-making and intervention on adverse events through early detection, causality assessment, as well as prevention.
Meanwhile, the Health Professions Council of Zambia, HPCZ, has encouraged more people to turn up for vaccination against COVID-19. HPCZ Senior Public Relations Officer Terry Musonda has echoed that the vaccine is intended to mitigate the severity of the coronavirus disease and is part of major steps towards achieving a COVID-free Zambia. Mr. Musonda has encouraged members of the public to take advantage of the ongoing voluntary vaccination exercise, in addition to other health guidelines stipulated to help protect themselves.
They need to take advantage of the ongoing COVID-19 vaccination. We believe that voluntary as it may be, we need to focus on the bigger picture of what it is intended to achieve. And to that effect, we believe as HPCZ that this is a vehicle which is meant to mitigate on the severity of the COVID-19 alongside the 5 golden rules. So we want to urge the public that indeed they need to take advantage of this, and it will also, in a way, show that we are supportive of the efforts which have been put in place by the experts with regards to the attainment of a COVID-free Zambia.
Chiefs and Traditional Affairs Minister Lawrence Sichalwe has distanced himself from the arrest of Chief MUKUNI'S wife. Addressing the media Wednesday, the minister says the person involved does not fall under his care and the whole case is in general. The minister was commenting on the arrest of the traditional leader's wife, who has been charged with abduction of the Hatembo siblings. Mr. Sichalwe, however, says no one is above the law, stating that anyone found guilty, regardless of who they are, the law should be enforced in totality. Chief MUKUNI'S wife, Veronica Mwana Kasale, is jointly charged with Fines Malambo, Axon Sejani, Javian Simoloka and Vincent Lilanda. The Queen has since been transported to Livingston in readiness for court appearance.
The issues surrounding the Hatembo siblings have continued to take center stage for at least a month now. The disappearance of Feluna and Milton Hatembo siblings involved in the land saga, which also entangles the United Party for National Development leader Hakainde Hichilema after a failed case. soon after the two siblings disappeared and being sought by the state, family members and generally concerned members of the public. In this quest to find the siblings, the state, through the police service, have been investigating, which has also seen a number of people being called for questioning, while some are being kept in police custody as investigations go on. On Monday, wife to outspoken senior chief Mukuni, Veronica Mukuni, was arrested and jointly charged with other persons for allegedly abducting the two siblings, contrary to Section 253, Cap 87 of the laws of Zambia. After spending 2 nights at Woodlands Police Station, the wife to Chief Mukuni has been driven back to Southern Province Wednesday, where she is expected to appear in court soon. While this is clearly a matter that borders on security, others have also deemed it a traditional matter, which is hoped would see the Minister of Chiefs and Traditional Affairs intervene. But the minister responsible for Chiefs and Traditional Affairs, Lawrence Sichalwe, has vehemently denied this matter, adding that the wife to the chief is not under his authority.
No one is above the law, and whoever comes in conflict with the law will have to face the consequences of the law. I am not the right portfolio minister to address the issue that you have raised. That hinges on Ministry of Home Affairs, and since they are the ones who may be in a proper position as to what law has been infringed, they would best answer to it. And for me, it is not the chief who has come into conflict with the law, but somebody who is outside my jurisdiction also. So I would refer your question to Ministry of Home Affairs, who could be able to give you details as to what law has been infringed upon and why the action.
In speaking at the same event, the minister also advised traditional leaders to stop involving themselves in active politics.
The situation that we are heading to, mine is a clarion call to traditional leaders not to be partisan. Traditional leaders are perceived to be unifying factors in their chiefdoms. Now, when they take a partisan stand, they will fail to have peace in their chiefdoms, because, for instance, a chief takes a partisan position. He's got parties that have been brought before him in conflict, meaning he will have to take a partisan position of one of them, and it will compromise his reconciliation process over the matter that is before him. So for the chiefs to maintain peace, law and order and stability in their chiefdoms, we call upon them to not be partisan. They will receive certainly various leaders in their chiefdoms because of the tradition of paying courtesy calls on them before they go in the chiefdom on their campaign trails to sell their message and manifestos. So the chief will receive them, but they must be mindful of what comes out of their mouth, not to be partisan.
For now, we wait and see while the story unfolds. Sharon Kalimbula, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Meanwhile, Forum for Democracy and Development leader Edith Nawakwi has accused UPND President Hakainde Hichilema of holding the Hatembo siblings hostage at his house. Speaking when she called in on a live Hot FM radio program Wednesday morning, Ms. Nawakwi claimed that she has information that the two have been abducted by Mr. Hichilema, whom they accused of illegally buying their Kalomo farm. Asked about what evidence she has to verify her claims, Ms. Nawakwi responded that she has challenged Mr. Hichilema to meet her at a police station. She has since challenged the police to move in and find the two siblings.
Gone through the last 8 or 9 months event, and you have any semblance of empathy or kindness in your heart, you cannot continue to be in UPND. Everybody knows that Seluna and Milton went to the police at the police headquarters and complained of fraud
February, during a press briefing held in Choma of Southern Province, the Hatembo siblings being Peluna Hatembo and Milton Hatembo, accused Mrs. Nawakwi of forcing them to appeal against a court judgment which ruled that Hakainde Hichilema legally bought the Kalomo farm under controversy. The two pleaded with Mrs. Nawakwi to set them free by not forcing them to appeal, a judgment which they themselves did not want to. Here's a recap.
Mapenza yako ya kutija, mendi jisimwana uli disabled. So ninda kanga kuteti oyu waumwa, waro mwana wakaisia into. He ya kutinganda yangu na ilibuti, ndire kwa kutija. Ndijisimwana oyo mwana ura 33 years. Tamba uli tamu oro wabola jimuru mata kwenye alimo oro waswa atakuhi usama oro gona kunka kuyagona tajisa right yakuti ndiza ndunge ndikakuli humbe pona ndapenga amwana angu oyo peambira kuti pinda gambiri dentwa gamba urarwa namba 2 kuti bana waki amutulege mebonda mwana ujiswa ura 33 years ngwamu 8 January mu 1988 mwanangu pona tagomeni uli mentally disturbed tagome oro kuti mwamubona ngamwabona bombuli kuti ndiza mwana wa 6 years na wa 7 years musimbi pona tiri ndiyo minini ya kuti ono ngwinda kasirira mwana hangu mebo yamugwena nkwabere mwana hangu first born wa 79 yamugwena nkwabere.
You're watching Camnet TV main news, not just another channel. We'll take a break. We'll be back with more news.
From time immemorial, we have had different types of lighting options, from those that can burn down our investments in minutes to those that dig holes in our pockets due to constant replacement and huge consumption of our ZESCO units. Savenda Electric introduces the new and advanced electric bulb with cutting-edge technology of LED that has low power consumption, gives out bright white light, and lasts up to 25,000 hours. Savenda Electric manufactures all types of LED light, like plastic LED fluorescent tubes, down lights, ceiling lights, outdoor fittings, and solar street lights made to customer specifications. Let's live on the bright side of life by choosing the wide range of Savenda electric lighting solutions that are available in all leading stores and supermarkets countrywide. For orders, call 0962-642-490 or email jnbunda@savenda.com or pchabula@savenda.com.
Every day for me means hard work. Going to sell my goods at the local market. To get more customers, I have my secret. Oracle Pure Glycerin. It's soft, smooth, and keeps my skin perfect. And my customers know it. Thank you, Oracle, for my perfect skin.
When you get Showmax, you get instant access to full seasons of award-winning series and blockbuster movies.
It's amazing.
You get shows you won't find anywhere else, like Showmax Originals.
Thank you so much.
You get awesome kids shows.
Freaking awesome.
Amazing documentaries.
You literally cannot make this up.
And now, you also get live world-class sport from Supersport.
Everything's out of control.
All ready and waiting for you to watch online on your smartphone, tablet, desktop, or smart TV, wherever and whenever you like.
Whoa.
So what are you waiting for? Go to showmax.com to sign up. From football seasons to binge-worthy seasons, you'll get it all on Showmax. One platform, endless entertainment.
God created you. The Bible says, I knew you before I placed you in your mother's womb.
Apples and bananas.
Work and wait, and this what you've been praying for.
Welcome back. We continue with the news. The ruling Patriotic Front, PF, has unveiled its revised 2021 to 2026 party manifesto with a pledge to creating economic zones in areas where there are none. Officiating at the event, PF President Edgar Lungu, who is also Republican President, announced that this will result in the reduction of road tax with a view of completely eliminating it. The PF President has also pledged that his party will combat corruption through integrity committees in all public institutions. We have more in the following report.
Election fever is on, and this year's election has been anticipated to be a tightly contested one. Others will be on the ballot for the first time, others will be trying to gain momentum, while others will seek to consolidate their dominance. Zambia's major political party, the Patriotic Front, Wednesday launched its party manifesto as it hopes to remain in government. An election manifesto is essentially a list of policies that a political party says it will enact if it is voted into office at a general election. President Edgar Lungu officiated the launch in Lusaka. In line with its party manifesto, the PF intends to create a stabilization fund to cushion challenges and work towards eliminating road taxes in light of the road tolling program.
We will create road tolls in provinces where they don't exist now, and will gradually reduce road tax with the aim of eventually eliminating it altogether in the light of the road tolling.
The PF manifesto also seeks to capitalize on crucial sectors of the economy such as infrastructure development, energy, and agriculture sectors, among others.
We want to provide incentives for Zambians to set up trading businesses, especially in towns and rural areas. 3, we want to reserve all government-funded procurement and construction projects for Zambians. 7, for those where our citizens may have no competence or capacity, or where projects are externally funded and there's a requirement that we allow foreigners to participate. 4, the government wants to provide support for Zambians in economic areas where there is a deficit of capital investment, equipment, and skills.
While other people have been asking questions and wonder why the PF has not addressed some of the issues in its current mandate, well, in its new party manifesto, the PF seeks to address corruption.
I know this is how bad you hate corruption I want to say that you further combat corruption through integrity committees in all public institutions. So those of you who have previously been in integrity committees, please take this role very, very seriously. We can categorically eradicate corruption at that point. We will prioritize investment tax credits as opposed to tax holidays.
Now that all major political parties have launched their party manifestos, as voters, it is now your duty to interrogate them and make your decisions on poll day. Patrick Soko, Camnet News.
The voluntary separatists of 1999 have rejected the 5.7 million kwacha government says it has released for the payment of their terminal benefits. The retirees have stated that government owes them in excess of 742 million kwacha in principal amount from the judgment of 2006. In a statement made available to Camnet News, the 5.7 million kwacha is an underpayment from the judgment of 2015, which comes from the 189 million underpayment from the 2016 judgment. The retirees have also disputed allegations by the Ministry of Justice Permanent Secretary Legal, Andrew MUKUNI'S, that the 14 million kwacha he alluded to in his statement of having been paid to the retirees in 2020 has not reached the beneficiaries. The retirees have stated that it is only the Permanent Secretary who knows the whereabouts of the said funds. They have since demanded for the Ministry of Justice audited report, which was compiled by the Controller of Internal Audit and his team of auditors in December of 2020. The Ministry of Health has launched the sickle cell newborn screening program at Arthur Davis Children's Hospital in Ndola. Health Minister Dr. Jonas Chanda says the new equipment will be used to scan and detect sickle cell disease in newborns earlier, which will help monitor and diagnose patients at a tender age. Dr. Chanda says about 7,000 active sickle cell cases have remained active in the country, with 20 to 25% of the country's population being affected with the disease. And Sickle Cell National Task Force Chairperson Dr. Catherine Liompa says early detection and diagnosis of sickle cell disease prevents deaths in children. Details in the following report.
Sickle cell anemia is an inherited red blood cell disorder in which there aren't enough healthy red blood cells to carry oxygen throughout a body. Normally, the flexible red round blood cells move easily through blood vessels. In someone who has sickle cell disease, the red blood cells become hard and sticky and look like a C-shaped farm tool called a sickle. The sickle cells die easily, which causes a constant shortage of red blood cells. Also, when they travel through small blood vessels, they get stuck and clog the blood flow. This can cause pain and other serious problems such as infection, acute chest syndrome, and stroke. In Zambia, about 20 to 25% of the population is living with sickle cell, with over 7,000 children diagnosed. And Health Minister Dr. Jonas Chanda says sickle cell has been one of the leading causes of death in children in the country. And to help detect the disease quickly in children, government has procured equipment which has been installed at Arthur Davison Hospital in Ndola.
Excellency Dr. Edgar Chagwalungu, President of the Republic of Zambia, I must hasten to say that although Zambia's actual burden of sickle cell disease remains unknown, what is known about the disease gives us the impetus to move forward with this agenda. We know that the sickle cell trait is carried by 20 to 25% of our population. That is a quarter of our population carries sickle cell trait, translating to 1 to 2% newborns with the disease, and that it increases as we move from south to the northern parts of our country. University teaching hospitals and Arthur Davison Children's Hematology Clinic have on record over 6,000 and 1,000 respectively active patients, with the majority of them being children below the age of 15 years.
Battling with sickle cell is not an easy experience, as pain becomes the order of the day if not well treated. This is the more reason government wants to ensure that it gives a normal lifestyle to persons living with sickle cell.
Zambia, through collaboration between Arthur Davison's Teaching Hospital and Guy's and St. Thomas NHS Foundation, King Global Health Partnership, and the ARISE program, received an isoelectric focusing machine that has been installed at the Tropical Diseases Research Center, TDRC, at Ndola Teaching Hospital, which we just saw this morning. This is the machine that will be used for newborn screening for sickle cell disease that we are launching today. I am confident that with this in place now, we will be in an even better position to monitor and follow up our patients from a tender age for better management outcomes.
And Sickle Cell National Task Force Chairperson Dr. Catherine Liompa has emphasized that with early detection and the right medication, sickle cell patients can live a normal life and contribute positively to society.
It has also been shown that when you give these children early penicillin prophylaxis, very few of them are actually going to die from infections, which are a common problem in these particular children. When you identify them early, you are able to give them vaccinations quite early in life, so that you're actually able to control the infections that they have. And that's the need for us to have newborn screening, and we are launching it today. I would just like to
persons living with sickle cell inherit the sickle cell genes from both parents. While no one chooses how they are born, it is important to love and care for persons living with such conditions by ensuring that medical equipment and facilities are available and accessible. Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
The women's movement has acknowledged that the media remains vital in uplifting the participation of women in national governance. NGOCC Acting Executive Director Monica Kajimana is concerned with the advent of social media, where women have continued to be portrayed negatively, a situation he said must be addressed. Speaking during a media breakfast meeting Wednesday, women's participation is a matter of human rights, inclusive growth and sustainable development. Speaking during the same meeting, Zambia National Women's Lobby Project Coordinator Lombe Nambaya Yombwe observed that politics have become an expensive venture in the country, making it difficult for women to pursue their aspirations. And Free Press Initiative board member Brighton Piri called for increased media coverage for female candidates.
With the onset of social media, we are left to rely on you professional media personnel to set the narrative straight. We cannot sit back and continue to let the status quo remain, where cyberbullying, where harassment continues to push favorable women, competent women from trying to participate because simply the environment is not friendly. A woman leader today has to think twice before they push forward their agenda to set their agenda forth for candidacy. And it is because of these factors that are negative, the negative portrayal of women in media, that we are here to reach out and speak to our colleagues in the media and say, brothers and sisters, let us hold hands together to change the narrative. This is our country and we cannot develop without women. So today in this meeting, and indeed we're hoping that it's going to be a very interactive conversation over a lovely meal, hopefully it's not getting cold, that we call you and say, can we have a change in 2021? Can we be that watchdog that the media is supposed to be in ensuring objective information is going out to the public? Can we ensure that the 2021 general election is an election filled with a campaign of issues and ideas and not mudslinging and harassment?
And Southern Province Permanent Secretary Joyce Wacha has advised women to have a sober approach as they lobby for various issues affecting women. The Permanent Secretary was speaking during a women's seminar on the use of technology during COVID-19. She says women should not be hostile to the people when pushing for change of policies in various sectors. She says women need to support fellow women in order for them to achieve goals they aspire for in different disciplines. She says the orientation of the use of technology by the organization has come at the right time when huge gatherings have been restricted. And Southern Province Chairperson Joyce Mushe says the workshop has equipped the women with knowledge that will help the different communities where they belong.
And say this culture probably has to stop. So, Chair, as Zambia Women's Lobby, you have a lot of issues to lobby over. And mine is just to wish you well and say that the sky is the limit. So continue doing these good jobs for Mother Zambia so that in future we are equal to our men counterparts. I speak like this and a very proud person because our Excellency the President has actually shown by even appointing the running mate who's our own Vice President. These are the policies that we want to see. You'll find that there are so many women in decision-making positions. So we as women, let's support one another. I usually don't like it when they say, no, women don't support one another. No, it's not that. So we love each other. Let's continue praying for each other. There should not be any pull her down syndrome. Because then the men will capitalize on that weakness and will actually ride on it. So with these few remarks, mine is just to wish you well as you get back to your districts, and please go and teach those that have not been able to come.
The Media Liaison Committee, through its World Press Freedom Day Local Organizing Committee, says media institutions and other stakeholders will physically commemorate this year's event slated for the 3rd of May 2021, despite the COVID-19 pandemic. This year's theme is Information as a Public Good. And Media Liaison Committee Chairperson Enoch Ngoma says he expects all media practitioners to translate this message effectively. He says in Lusaka, the commemoration will also involve a march past from the High Court grounds to the Freedom Statue and will be graced by President Edgar Lungu.
The Media Liaison Committee, through its World Press Freedom Day Organizing Committee, is pleased to announce to all journalists, media institutions and other stakeholders that we shall physically commemorate this year's event on May 3. In Lusaka, the commemoration will also involve a march past from the High Court grounds to the Freedom Statue. The commemorations will also be held in all provincial centers. This year's theme is Information as a Public Good, and we expect all media practitioners to translate this message effectively. We further wish to inform all stakeholders that this year's event will be graced by His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zambia, Dr. Edgar Lungu, as our guest of honor, and he is going to match with the media. We are very much alive to the limitations caused by the coronavirus pandemic, so we strongly advise all stakeholders to mask up and take other precautionary health measures as advised by the Ministry of Health during the march past. Thank you.
This is Camnet TV Main News. We take another break. We'll be back with more news.
In this fast-paced era of industrial boom and population growth, there is need to invest in smart ways of managing electricity and water consumption and reducing utility billing costs associated with the postpaid billing system. At Savenda Electronics, we manufacture right here in Zambia different types of high-quality smart electricity and water meters to customer specifications. Savenda Electronics water and electricity meters help you monitor your usage and gives notifications such as low units, tampering, low battery, and many other features. These easy-to-use meters makes it easier to buy units even in these COVID times and top up just from the comfort of your space. Favorable contract terms are available to both electricity and water utilities. For more details, get in touch with us on the following numbers: 0956 580 349 or 0977 498 318. Savenda Electronics, the real deal.
All the answers on GoTV this weekend. Join the search for Pablo Escobar's millions using the latest technology. Learn new songs while making new friends with Barry and Dolly. And who better to solve all your problems than Judge Judy? GoTV. Love it.
2021 has been described as a highly politically charged year. This is because every 5 years the country goes to the polls, and that 5 years elapses with only a few months remaining down to the ballot. The battlefield to appear on the ballot is becoming fertile. A lot of people are expressing interest of appearing on the ballot.
In all this, our interest is to put the duty bearers, the leaders, and those aspiring to task by asking the relevant questions.
If you're an aspiring candidate, be it councillor, mayor, or member of parliament, get in touch with us to get yourself on the verdict.
We go beyond speculation in dealing with policy and governance issues. The right questions are asked to help you make a verdict.
For more details, you can call us on 0962 965883, 0979 753010, or email us info@camnettvafrica.com. Terms and conditions apply.
Join us on Camnet TV
every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday at 17:45 hours
on a new program dubbed The Verdict.
Remember that Camnet TV is not just another channel.
Welcome back. In international news, opposition politicians in Chad have rejected the army's appointment of President Idriss Déby's son to take over in the wake of his death. Déby, 68, who had been in power for 3 decades, died after being shot as he battled rebels on the front line. Mahamat Idriss Déby Itno, also known as General Kaka, was in charge of the Presidential Guard and is to lead the country for 18 months until elections. Experts have told the BBC and other broadcasters that the move is unconstitutional and that the Speaker of Parliament should take over when the sitting president dies before organizing elections. Meanwhile, people across the United States were on edge as they braced for a verdict in the murder trial of ex-police officer Derek Chauvin as protesters demanded justice for George Floyd on Tuesday outside the Minneapolis government building where the trial concluded. Chauvin was found guilty of second-degree unintentional murder, third-degree murder and second-degree manslaughter, a result that gave way to relief and jubilation. Marches and vigils are still being held across the U.S. following the verdict.
This was Chad's President Idriss Déby campaigning last week. Early election results indicated he'd won a 6th term in office. But Déby had reportedly joined his son and other soldiers on Saturday to repel an attack by a rebel group in the northern province of Camnet, near the border with Libya. According to the military, he was severely injured, and on Monday it announced his passing. It says it's created a transitional military council led by Déby's son and has suspended the constitution.
A transitional government will be put in place. New Republican institutions will be put in place to facilitate the transition by the organization of free, democratic and transparent elections, following the spirit of sacrifice that the Marshal of Chad had fought for all his life, right up until his last suffering.
In the capital, where people celebrated Déby's election victory the night before the announcement, there were mixed reactions.
It's sad news. The presidential elections went off peacefully through to the declaration of results by the Election Commission. And then the next day we learned the sad news of the death of the president, Déby, after being injured badly at the front lines. It's sad news for the entire country.
The news is surprising. I'm moved by it. The rumors that are going around about the Transitional Council give me the impression that some information is false. They are already talking about dissolving parliament. That is delicate. We have a constitution. So for me, I'd say it was a coup and he was killed.
Idriss Déby was a former military officer who came to power in 1990. He'd faced numerous coup attempts and his opposition accused him of ruthlessness. The rebel Front for Change and Concord group wanted to remove Déby as president. It attacked a government position at the border on election day on April 11th. Chad's closest ally, France, provided its military with logistical support and intelligence.
It seems like the removal of Déby has not changed the military situation. And as long as the military remains largely loyal to his son, which seems likely to be the case given that he used to be the commander of the Presidential Guard and the Chadian Army's best units, he's a 4-star general, he's only 37 years old. If he can keep that loyalty, then there's no way the rebellion can take advantage of that any more than they could have under his father.
More than 300 rebel fighters have reportedly been killed in the fighting during the past few days. That President Déby has now also died in the fighting has shocked a nation and made the security situation in the wider Sahel region even more fragile. Hiba Morgan, Al Jazeera, N'Djamena.
Huddled around their phones outside the courthouse, the news spread among the crowd. Derek Chauvin had been found guilty on all 3 counts. There was elation, but no illusions among many of those gathered.
We need to have justice! This is the first step! We are not finished! This is the first step for our white community!
We are satisfied with just this. This is just one step to it.
I'm so glad that he got justice. It's been way too long. And I'm glad we're out here today because if we... I'm sorry. I want to cry, but I can't. I'm sorry.
There was disbelief, but also belief that the evidence of George Floyd's murder was incontrovertible. At the site of his death, an area now named George Floyd Square, emotions were particularly raw. In other cities, similar scenes. Here, marchers in Atlanta. in New York, satisfaction at what the Black Lives Matter movement has achieved, despite the naysayers.
I'm happy for all of the folks who are non-believers for the last 5 years. They came out into the streets for what was right, and they got a victory.
We should make no mistake that the protesters that we've been hearing from do not agree with the prosecution case that we heard, that this was not the Minneapolis Police Department on trial. What we keep on hearing from them is it is the Minneapolis Police Department on trial. Not only that, it's the police departments across the country that were on trial. And this verdict may have brought relief at justice finally served, but there was also the recognition that the law would not bring George Floyd back. Shia Brotansi, Al Jazeera, Minneapolis.
We now have sports news. And in sports news, ZAMFoot reports that cash-strapped NKANA suffered their third defeat in the CAF Confederations Cup on Wednesday at Levi Mwanawasa Stadium. A second-half strike from Abdallah El Said earned Egyptian side Pyramids a 1-0 win over NKANA. Stand-in coach Simon Dakaonda named a strong side for the match, striker Emmanuel Mwinde leading the line. Ghanaian defender Richard Okran was paired with former Zambia under-20 star Moses Nyondo in central defense. The struggling Quito Giants held their own against the North Africans until the 78th minute when Said breached the defense and beat Moses Mapolanga in goal. The win sees Pyramids move to 9 points, while NKANA is third on 6 points. Group B leaders Raja Casablanca continued with their 100% winning streak after they posted a 3-0 win over Tanzanian side Namungo. The Moroccans have 15 points. Raja will welcome NKANA on match day 6, while Pyramids will host hapless Namungo. In another CAF Confederations Cup Group B match involving NAPSA Stars and RS Bekan, the game ended 1-0 in favor of NAPSA Stars. That sporting item brings us to the end of the news, but we'll take a look at the headlines once more. PF campaigns on the slogan of no road tax if voted into office again. Traditional Affairs Minister washes his hands over the arrest of Chief MUKUNI'S wife. Water Aid Zambia concerned with underfunding towards the water sector. And in international news, Chad rivals reject DEBY'S son inheriting power. And in sports news, Egyptian side Pyramids sink NKANA by 1-0. Our Camnet verse for the day is coming from the book of Philippians 2 verse 3 to 4, and it reads, "Do nothing out of rivalry or conceit, but in humility consider others as more important than yourselves. Everyone should look out not only for his own interests, but also for the interests of others." My name is Jeffrey Ziambo. Thanks for watching the news. Bye-bye.